Good morning. I'm here with Mirel, and this week we'll be discussing money. First of all, I'd like to ask you if you think the topic money is a taboo in today's society, or
I think depending on how you look at it or how you consider it being a taboo, it can be, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. We do talk about money,
yeah,
always basically, but I think the things we should talk about, we don't, at least not openly. At least publicly, we don't really talk about how money can influence you in bad ways or how to spend it correctly, and it's more like money just revolves around everything, and it's important, but that's not really informative.
Yeah. First question. Do you think that money can make people happy?
I think it can make you happy. You can have a lot of things that you materially what you want to have, but I think if you're looking for something more emotional, or want to have good relations with people, or just not to be so lonely, then money necessarily doesn't help with that. I think when you're very rich and when you're very, when you really want to show it to people, they might even feel like they don't want to talk to you because you seem really, arrogant and stuff. So I think, in a sense, it can even be bad for you to actually maybe form healthy relationships with people.
Yeah, I think also with people that with really rich people, I think with money sometimes what you see is that they just have so much of it and that they don't really know what to do with it anymore.
Yeah.
And that they then either start spending it on I don't know, unnecessary things, and also that it might make them actually unhappy that they have so much money because they don't really have a goal to work towards necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it varies for everyone, and that it's just different for everyone.
Yeah, I agree, because if you have all the money in the world, you can buy whatever you want. You don't really have a goal anymore.
Yeah.
You just kind of exist.
Yeah.
I guess.
And I mean, you could choose to spend your money wisely and I don't know, start charity, start an organization. I don't know, or but I think a lot of people don't choose to do that, and then it just kind of goes to waste, and then they kind of end up feeling lost in life.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Do you think teenagers like ourselves should be allowed to decide by themselves what to spend the money that they have on?
I think for the most part, yes. I feel like as a teenager, you really want to have that liberty of saying that I really want this. And it feels nice when your parents actually let you have that, let you make that decision. But I guess it's also important that they actually advise you or tell you if something is really stupid. All the teenagers hate it when their parents tell something like that to them. But I feel like it's necessary. Even if you feel like you won't listen to them, it still somehow influences your decisions. Yeah. And parents usually still regulate how much money we actually have, because most of us still get pocket money. We don't have time to work. So I guess they can give us the liberty to make the decisions, but they still control how much money we have. So if you get 10 euros in a week, you don't have that much to spend on very stupid things or things that are not necessary. And I feel like in our age, we're not that stupid anymore. So we already know what's worth spending on and what's not.
Yeah, I think at our age that most people are, but I think younger, I don't know, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew what I was doing with my money.
Yeah, I think that depends on how you were raised as well.
Yeah.
If the importance of money was really explained to you. Because for me, I've always thought that spending money is not really wise in a sense. Maybe you need it more for something that you want more than for maybe example a $100 T-shirt for fancy brand. But I guess if your parents don't really talk about that with you, then you can spend money on anything.
Yeah, it just depends on how you're raised, and some parents are also very, like, I don't know, they tell you that you shouldn't, like, you should only spend money on things necessary.
Yeah.
But I don't think I completely agree with that.
I think parents with money and with everything else as well should always think about the fact that they were once our age and they didn't like when everything was dictated to them.
Yeah.
And I guess there should be rules in like a home about money, and there should be some kind of authority, like how your children spend your money, no matter how old they are. There still should be some room for them to actually make the decisions as well, and just restrict them into doing whatever the parent wants them to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. Otherwise, when they turn 18, I don't think they'll really, because I guess we also, if we're more free to do what we want, then we also learn quicker like what's a good idea and what isn't. So then when we are on our own, we can try to not mess up as much.
Yeah, I guess you have more experience then on how to spend, so you actually have money left as well afterwards. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. And for allowance, do you think allowance is a good thing, or do you think that we should work for our money, or what are your thoughts on it?
I think it is good when you have some allowances, not like huge amounts like some people from richer families get, like hundreds of euros in a month, or dollars, or whatever your currency is. But I guess it is necessary to have a little money, because you do need to buy lunch, or you still want to go shopping maybe once in a while, and you can decide what to do with it. You can just collect it, keep it for later. But I think it has to be really still, even if you don't work for your money and you never have, and you get allowance, I think parents still should teach you that when you work, it doesn't grow on a tree, like you have to work for it, like you need to know that. But for me, for example, I've always gotten allowances when I ask, so I don't get monthly allowances, and I always have to have a good reason for it, and I guess that's better than just getting money every month, because I don't spend that much some months, and some months I need more, so it's more like if I have a good reason.
It's a good idea.
But I've worked only once during summer, because I don't really find the time to actually work, or it's really hard to find a job when you don't have experience. So I think I know the importance, but that's mostly because my parents taught me to know the importance, not because I worked much for the money.
So you think it's important that our parents inform us on the importance, but that it's understandable if we don't have time to do it ourselves.
Yeah, and what is taboo about money is that parents usually, even when the kid is already older, like our age, and we actually understand a lot of things already, they don't really tend to talk about the financial situation in the family, And I think when your kid is older, you should actually, at least when not discussing with them, start discussing between themselves when your kid hears it. Because then you kind of make sense of the fact that it's not that easy. It's not that you just ask and the money just comes from somewhere. That your parents have to work for it really hard. Sometimes it's harder than other times. Sometimes you have more costs. I don't know, maybe your car broke down or whatever. And my parents do that, and I've actually discussed it with them. And I also think when you go and travel, it's really important for me to know how much it actually costs, because your parents pay for it, not only themselves but for their kids as well, and the kids don't really bring in money. So I feel when they talk about these things, it kind of gets to you, and you kind of realize that it's not it grows in a tree.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You brought up the discussing it in the families, because it is often you see that. parents don't like to do that. But what you were saying is, yeah, like, also for us to realize and to learn from them, and yeah. What do you think about like lending money to our friends? Like, as teenagers, we have money, and sometimes we don't. Like, sometimes we have money, sometimes we don't have money. So sometimes we'll go to our friends to ask for some, or they'll come to us to ask. What do you think about that?
I think it's not a bad thing. It's always nice to give money to other people, because if you're in a situation where you need it's nice to know that somebody will support you. But I think there should be, logic behind it as well, and like reasoning. Like, if somebody asks you for 50 euros, like as a teenager, it's your parents' money still, probably. So I think when somebody asks you for lunch money, it would be probably fine.
Yeah.
But when somebody asks you like insane amount of money, like, you should think about it, even if they're really good friends. And I guess when you're a teenager and you actually ask somebody for money, like one of your friends, I think for me it's important that when I know that I don't have money myself, I usually don't go around asking, because I know that I don't have money to pay back either. And I don't know if my parents would actually allow me to do that. And I guess I restrict myself. Like, if I don't have money, I don't necessarily have to go to the movies. I can just tell my friends that I'm sorry, like, I can't come, or I don't have to go shopping or whatever. And I guess that's important too.
Yeah.
Because if you always rely on your friends and always ask money for them, like, maybe they are in a hard situation financially as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, I don't really like being in debt as well.
Yeah, so. No, I think if you can't, like, if you're not sure about whether you can pay them back, and you don't know their financial situation, then, yeah.
Because, when somebody asks me, and sometimes I really want to give them money, and maybe I even have some, like, but I know, for example, that they don't really pay you back. It's like, I don't want to be a mean person or a bad friend, but I still value the money, because it's not mine, it's my parents' money. And when I know that the person is probably not going to pay me back in a while, or maybe not at all, like, it's really hard for me to say no, but I think you should know how to say no as well in certain situations.
Yeah. Knowing how to say no is important. What do you think about like donating money to homeless people you may see on the street, or to charities that you've heard about, or
I think charities as organizations are more reliable, because if you've done your research and you really looked into it, that they're legit organizations and they actually have a cause and they actually put their money where they claim they will, then I think that's a really nice thing to do if you have money to do it, and you don't have anything good to spend it on anyway. But with people who beg for money, just sitting outside, like, I can give money to people who, for example, play an instrument or sing or dance or do something, and they actually show that they have talent. That doesn't feel too bad. But I feel like people who just sit there and like ask for money, I know that they might be in a very hard situation, but just getting pieces from other people, that won't get you anywhere. Like, you need to work for it as well. So I feel like it's kind of their own fault in a way as well. They're in that situation and they're really not trying to get out of it. And they kind of have a bad reputation in a sense that most of them don't really want to use that money for actually getting out of that situation.
Yeah, usually it's for addictions.
Yeah, they're like drunkards or like addicted to drugs. And also people have started to scam others, like saying that I desperately need like 10 euros to get a train ticket because my family is there and I don't have money, and things like that really put you off, because you never know if they're actually telling the truth, or
you can't trust anyone anymore.
And it's really hard, even if it feels bad to not give them money. Sometimes I think it's necessary to, like, again, say no. Like, you can't just give out money to everybody who asks.
well, that's it for today then. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
And yeah, be smart with your money, I guess.